and 5, 4, 3, and so on and so forth.
Hi, this is Kathleen Nicole O'Neill for House of Cartomancy, and today I'm going to be sharing a special unboxing with you of the Ostara Tarot. And you can see it came in the mail earlier this evening from Amazon. I have not even gotten into the packaging, so y'all are going to be sharing this unboxing absolutely from the very beginning with me. So I'm ripping into the box right now. Ooh. Woo. All right. And here we have it, the Ostara Tarot. Looks like it comes in a very nice box, so I'm going to be undoing the paper here. Here we go. Off it comes. Here we go. See, very nice packaging, very sturdy box, very beautiful. On the front, it says Ostara Tarot, and it has the names of the people involved with creating it: Molly Applejohn, Eden Cook, Krista Gibbard, and Julia Iredale. Very beautiful. And on the back it says, "The vernal equinox, Ostara, wakes the city after winter." Through 78 stunning tarot cards and an accompanying guidebook, delve into the fantastical world of traditional symbolism and contemporary themes that will return you to the wilderness and explore the feminine. With a unique synergy of artistic styles and perspectives, discover deities and mystical archetypes in the major arcana that convey 22 core lessons, while the minors employ the help of animal guides to illuminate their diverse messages, connecting them to your life. Identify your relationship with the earth and pay homage to the natural world and to those romantic moments where you can again be part of the nature around you. Use keywords as well as upright and reversed card explanations to manifest your deepest spiritual renewal, perfect for both novices and collectors. And here's what the back looks like. Very, very sturdy box, very beautiful box. So this looks like a tarot that if you receive it, you're not going to necessarily have to buy a bag or a pouch to store it in. If you don't want to do that, this box will be sufficient, and it will be sturdy, and it will be beautiful for you to be able to store your tarot in it indefinitely. So you see, has this kind of magnetic closure and opening. See, very beautiful. I really like this. On the inside, it has these adorable little pictures of the 4 folks involved with creating it, and it shows them here, see? And they are Molly Applejohn, Eden Cook, Krista Gibbard, and Julia Iredale. Molly, Eden, Krista, and Julia are 4 illustrators living in Vancouver, Canada. After meeting at art school and discovering a shared love for the occult, they decided to tackle the ambitious task of illustrating a tarot deck. Since then, they have delved into every corner of their trade. Their individual work ranges everywhere from comics to murals to children's books, and they continue to work on collaborative projects. When they're not drawing in their home studios, they like to spend their days exploring gorgeous Canadian vistas, traveling to far-off places, and sharing good books. And so here is what you see whenever you open it up. Really, really nice. You have this book that you take out. Very nice little book. Here's the front, here's the back. Let's see what the book has to show us. Here's this beautiful image that you see whenever you first open up the book. You see your table of contents. And you have your preface, and then it delves right into the major arcana, where you have the card, you have the name, you have some keywords, you have a couple of paragraphs about it, and then you have a reversed meaning. And that's what it does for the major arcana. It looks like for the minor arcana, it does something very similar as well. And then at the back, it tells a little bit about each of the individuals that was involved with creating this deck. So you have your guidebook here, very nice guidebook, full color images. It looks like it will be very nice to delve into. Now, let's delve into the cards. One thing immediately that stands out about these cards is this beautiful silver kind of gilded edge that's so shiny and just gorgeous. This is what the back of the cards look like. Kind of this skull-like image, like a bird skull. Very evocative image. I'm not going to be showing every single card because I'm a big believer that whenever, you open up a new tarot or really any kind of cartomancy deck, that you should have some surprises. However, I will be showing you some of the cards that particularly resonate with me. One thing that I notice immediately is that they're full. She's kind of like a witch on a broomstick. She's a feminine figure, very interesting. And their magician is a more feminine figure as well. These are very nice cards, very nice cardstock. The Emperor has some very goat-like characteristics. A very mysterious and evocative Hierophant card. I really like it. It's very interesting. Seems to have a lot of layers to it. Justice is beautiful, and it looks to be a very, very powerful reinterpretation of Maat, the ancient Egyptian deity that weighs the heart in order to determine one's righteousness and fitness to enter the afterlife when one dies. And this is just a very powerful image, and I'm interested to see more as to what the creators say in the guidebook. But I really love this card. Excuse me. The Wheel of Fortune is very beautiful and very evocative. It looks like the three fates are, deciding and sort of spinning someone's fate in this image here. Very powerful, very colorful, very interesting. It makes me think of Sleeping Beauty for some reason. I like the strength card. It makes me think a little bit of the character Daenerys from Game of Thrones and the Song of Ice and Fire books. This lady here with her dragon, and the dragon is sleeping peacefully while she watches over it. These are really beautiful cards, very unique. I really like this deck already. I'm very happy that I purchased it. I really liked what they've done with the Hanged Man here. It's in some ways a very traditional Hanged Man image, but I love the soft colors. I love the golds and the browns and kind of the natural feel that kind of gets us back to the idea of Odin hanging from the tree, or Christ on the cross, and what that sacrifice meant, having to go through that in order to redeem humanity. Just the beautiful, soft lights. I think it really, speaks to that kind of idea of the Hanged Man and the beauty that can come after the dark night of the soul. I really like that. The Death card is very busy. It's a very beautiful card, very interesting. I'm going to have to study this more and look at it more and think more about it. Very unique, very interesting. Temperance is interesting too. You have this image of this young woman. It sort of makes me think of the Disney version of Pocahontas in a sense, and all these images of animals and other things that are kind of building around her and underneath her. I'm going to have to meditate more on this card and study more about this card. Very beautiful imagery, very interesting imagery. The Devil is a very, very powerful image, and let me show it to you. You have sort of this insect slash goat-like figure with the horns and the skull, and they're wearing clothing and they're holding this little lantern that has human figures inside of it. And it makes me think of the David Cronenberg film The Fly, which I watched recently, which is about a scientist that turns into a fly type figure and how that impacts his relationships and his life. And it's a very fascinating film, and it's kind of goes beyond, the sci-fi horror genre to be something of a meditation about life and relationships, and it's a very evocative film, and this card really brings that to mind for me. Really haunting and beautiful. Another disturbing and yet beautiful card, the Tower. I'm so pleased that I got this deck. I didn't know much about it whenever I ordered it. But, I liked the artwork that I saw, and I thought, it'll be fun to do an unboxing video with this new deck that's coming out, and, I like what I see, and I'm very, very pleased that I did. It's got a lot of very beautiful, unique, haunting artwork. And I like having so many feminine figures in the deck. They have some masculine figures as well. But I like that this seems to be a very woman-centered deck in a lot of ways. So before I go any further, let me look and see exactly what they're doing for the minor arcana and how their minor arcana corresponds to the more typical Rider-Waite-Smith system, so I know what I'm looking at as I look at the minor arcana cards. So it looks like they have wands, coins, cups, and swords, like a typical minor arcana in the Rider-Waite-Smith system or in a lot of systems that, you know, you will see. But I just wanted to check and make sure. I'm going to have a sip of my soda here. I love soda. I love Coke. So I'm going to try to show you at least a few cards from each different suit. Now I'm looking at the wands. This is the Three of Wands, and it has a frog, which I love. I love frogs, and I love amphibians. I remember reading on the back of the box, and y'all might remember as well, that their minor arcana is very animal themed, which I like. And so here is their Four of Wands, which are these precious bunnies, which I love as well. Their Five of Wands are another animal I love, these beautiful snakes. Aren't they gorgeous? Serpents are so powerful, and I love to see serpent imagery in tarots. I think they're so powerful and provocative, and you know, they speak to something in our souls, I think. Okay, I like this card as well. These beautiful fish, the Six of Wands. I just love all the animals. The Seven of Wands is an interesting card. It looks like something of a maze where she's, you know, got these ladders to and from where she currently is. I've got to look at that card and study it more. Very evocative. She's got the raccoon with her, which I guess is the animal for this card. I'm having to restrain myself from showing you every card because every card in this deck is beautiful. Every card in this deck is unique and colorful and evocative, but I definitely believe that, you know, whenever you open a tarot deck or an oracle deck or a Lenormand deck or any kind of, you know, cartomancy deck, there should be some surprises. So I'm holding off on showing all the cards. Here is your Queen of Wands. She's with this very beautiful, powerful, colorful male lion. I really love that. The colors make me think of Disney's The Lion King. A lot about this deck makes me think of Disney in a certain way, and I think it's because it's such a bright and colorful deck, and it brings to mind, you know, kind of the bright, colorful artistry of a lot of Disney films. I don't know if that was a conscious influence or not, but with the animals and with the feminine figures and with the bright colors, you know, it might not, you know, bring that to mind for other people, but it certainly does for me. So the next suit that we're going to look at is the suit of coins. And in this box, the way they have things laid out is you have about half the cards in one area and about half the cards in another. I'm so happy I purchased this deck. I wasn't sure about it, but I love how beautiful and evocative and unique these images are, and how much care obviously went into them. So many images that they definitely speak to me, but I'm not quite sure what they're saying, and so I'm going to have to study them and think about them more, and I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I think that a lot of times art should make us think, outside the box, and should kind of challenge us, and maybe the meaning shouldn't be apparent to us right off the bat. So here is the sixth of coins. And I really like this with the fish. Very interesting take on this card. And I love these fish. I don't think they're quite eels. Maybe they're sharks. Maybe they're kind of in the shark eel family. But I really like those fish. And I like the female figure with them. So the Eight of Coins, if you know anything about tarot, you'll know, if you remember your minor arcana, that the Eight of Coins is a card that typically denotes hard work, and it denotes solitary work, and it's all about working hard towards a goal, you know plugging away to create something, to study something, what have you. And in this deck, they have an owl that is plugging away doing this hard work. And I really like that, especially when you think about the associations that a lot of us have with owls in terms of, the goddess Athena and wisdom and study and academia and things of that nature. And so, when you think about, kind of locking yourself away and secluding yourself to study hard, for, say, a mathematics exam, or for, your doctoral thesis, or for your SATs, or your GREs, or your LSATs, or your ACTs, or your MCATs, or whatever. I think that this card definitely, accentuates that with the owl, and it's just adorable too. The Ten of Coins in this deck is very adorable and beautiful. And you have an octopus and these precious little babies. I don't know if they're little mer children or angels or sea urchins or what they are, but they're precious, and they're playing around with the octopus tentacles here. The Queen of Coins in this deck, she's surrounded by these ovine type figures that are like goats, and I really, really love these goats. They're very of the earth and very beautiful and nurturing type figures, and anybody that knows me knows I love goats, I love lambs, I love sheep. So I really like this card, and I like this depiction of the Queen of Coins, Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Earth, whatever you want to call her in different decks. I like seeing her with our ovine friends here. So next we move on to the suit of chalices. And this is our first card. And it is people in little mouse costumes. And at first I thought it was mice, but it is actually people wearing mice costumes. And they're having a grand old time wearing these mice costumes. And this is a very interesting image. It brings to mind a lot of things for me all at once. It makes me think of Stanley Kubrick's film Eyes Wide Shut, where you have, you know, all the very evocative images of the folks in Venetian Mask. And it also makes me think of all the classic children's films with, you know, the mice and rats as characters, be it, you know, Mickey and Minnie Mouse, or Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim, or films like The Rescuers and The Rescuers Down Under, or, you know, the films with Fievel. I'm trying to remember what those were called whenever, you know, he... an American Tail, I think it was, you know, those films. So it makes me think of all those children's stories that feature, you know, rats and mice in such prominent positions. And it also makes me think of the very adult Stanley Kubrick film Eyes Wide Shut, and all of the sexual and psychological innuendo in that film. So this is an interesting card. This is just a very sweet card. Look at these two sweet birds. Sweet, sweet. More amphibians. I love the frogs. So many of these images, I want to study them more, and obviously, I mean, you can't really stop an unboxing video to just stare at the cards and just, you know, meditate on them in depth, but, you know, that seems like what this deck lends itself to is, you know, these are images that you really want to study and really meditate on and really think about, because there really seems to be layers to the artwork in this deck, which I really like. I feel like, you know, tarot artwork and oracle card artwork, it shouldn't be too simplistic. It should be something that you can come back to, and it reveals new things every time you look at it again and again and again, and I can definitely tell that that's going to be the case with this deck. The Four of Cups, you see this lady, and she is wearing her rabbit mask, and she's also cuddling an actual rabbit. Very sweet image. Another thing I'm going to have to do with this deck is go back and compare these cards with the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith cards and with the cards in other decks to really get a fuller sense of how they compare and contrast with the cards in other decks. Okay, I love this one. Here's the Five of Cups, and it is a serpent-themed card. I love the snakes. I'm a snake person. I absolutely love snakes. I love this card. Again, I could show you every single card in this deck because every card in this deck is beautiful. Every single card in this deck has very powerful, unique messages to share. I love the diversity of different animals and different types of animals that are on display in this deck. You see here the Page of Cups, and you see what he's doing is he's making finger puppets or what have you on the wall. I'm trying to remember the name. Shadow puppets. Shadow puppets on the wall with his hands. And he's, you know, making a wolf image, and he has these actual wolves that are sitting around watching him. I think this is a really cool image. So we have our first card in the suit of swords, and it is already a very evocative image. You have this little mouse or little rat standing on top of this sword with a little kind of air crown drawn above him, and you can see this carcass on the ground. And if you know anything about the suit of swords in tarot, it is a very challenging suit. It is a suit that speaks to a lot of sorrow and difficult emotions and problems with communications. And this is just a very poignant image to kick off that suit. I love the Five of Swords with the serpent. I'm wondering, I'm gonna have to go back and look, but I think I'm detecting a theme where like all the ones are mice, and all the fours are rabbits, and all the fives are serpents, and I like that. I really like that. So apparently that's what they're doing. I really like that. Yes, that is what they're doing. That is what they're doing. So every number is assigned a different animal in the minor arcana. I really like that. This is a beautiful Queen of Swords. This is a very powerful and fascinating King of Swords. So, I'm putting my cards back in my little box with the little guidebook. And again, this has been the Ostara Tarot, and it is created by Molly Applejohn, Eden Cook, Krista Gibbard, and Julia Iredale. And let me look again and see who published this tarot. It is from Red Feather Publishing House. So that is not a publishing house that I was too familiar with previously, but I definitely am going to be looking more into what they're doing now, because I've been very impressed with this deck. So this is the Ostara Tarot, and I can only say wonderful things about it. The packaging is beautiful. All too often, whenever you order a tarot deck, the packaging is just not as good as you find with some oracle decks or some other kinds of decks. And this deck definitely does not disappoint. Beautiful packaging, really sturdy box, definitely able to store. The cardstock is beautiful. It's got, silver gilt edges. The cards themselves, the artwork is absolutely beautiful, very evocative, very unique. It is definitely not like any tarot deck that I've ever seen before, and it's a deck that, will speak to you on a very aesthetic level, and at the same time it will really make you think. Just, going through these cards just now, there's so many cards that I have questions about. You can tell it's a really well designed deck. that there are a lot of themes that have been carried through with the numbers matching to different animals and things like that. Both the major and the minor arcana, as well as, the court cards, are just absolutely just beautiful. And I can only say wonderful things about this deck. So, I ordered mine from Amazon, and it was $17.56. I did not have to pay shipping and handling because I've got Amazon Prime, so I mean that might vary for you depending on your shipping and handling situation, but I am very, very pleased with this deck. I'm very pleased with the quality of what you get for the money. It's a very reasonable price, and it is just a beautiful deck. It's a very artistic deck. It's a very unique deck, and I am so thrilled that I got it, and I recommend it highly. I can't wait to read the guidebook, to do some journaling with this deck, and to really meditate on some of the cards and what they mean, and kind of how they fit in with other cards in that are the same card in other tarot decks. So kind of compare, like, say, their Four of Coins to, say, the Four of Pentacles in the Rider-Waite deck, or what have you. So like I said, I'm really excited about this deck. So glad I purchased it, and I cannot say enough good things about it. Not disappointed at all. Not really sure what I was getting into here. Very, very pleased with my purchase. A gorgeous deck. Again, this has been Kathleen Nicole O'Neill for House of Cartomancy. Thank you so much for watching this unboxing video with me, and please subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this video. Check out my House of Cartomancy Facebook page. Thank you so much. Bye.